Hello again YouTube, my name is Bree, and in this video we're going to be doing a Draw This Again challenge. I have not done one of these challenges before. Essentially, for the uninitiated, Draw It Again challenge is where you take an old piece of artwork, I'm going to be doing something from 2018, and redrawing it with your current style and skill set. So I'm actually really nervous about this because I'm afraid that, there's a lot of pressure to do better than you have in the past, and I'm worried that I'll do worse, so we'll see. In any case, this sketchbook is an older Mossery sketchbook. Just in case anyone's curious, this is before they did the hardcovers, and it's just the watercolor paper, similar to the one from my prior video. And the one I'm interested in redrawing is this piece. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little. Oh, that's acting weird. Okay, so this piece was drawn when I was having a really, I'm going to say tough week, because I think at that point it had been a week, but this went on for several months. And essentially, I guess when I get stressed out, I tend to take out my stress on my characters in my sketchbook. So, a little badly beaten, I guess, fox boy, because he's got like the yellow eye with the slitted pupil. I don't really know. I don't remember much about what was going on for this actual piece when I drew it and painted it. I just kind of remember what was going on in life, and I'll talk about that more probably in the voiceover as I actually paint the new piece. In any case, my style has changed quite a bit. I think this was one of the earliest pieces, though, that I did where I didn't use much besides just the watercolors. So I think everything besides the initial sketch on this one is watercolor, so that kind of matches what I currently do. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not sure how much I want to change it, just the image itself. We'll see as I go. I'll probably keep the general facial features the same, including the scars and the bruises. I do want to give a body, but I'm not sure if I was kind of going for like he's wearing a long sleeve white shirt or if it was just a floating head and arm. But yeah, we're going to change that. I do kind of want to keep the big ears because they're cute. I don't know, big ears are kind of cute to me. I know that they are kind of proportionately large for this piece, but I'm going to keep that. I'm probably also going to keep the narrow nose because I think it kind of goes with the whole fox vibe, because the long face, long nose. Beyond that, I'll probably keep the same hairstyle, eye color, and that, because I just don't want to change it too much. It is drawing this same piece again. So, yeah. So just one more shot at the original. And I guess we'll go ahead and get started on the sketch, and I'll meet you back with my initial sketch. Okay, I'm back, and I have an initial sketch, and I say that because I tend to fidget with things quite a bit more before I actually start painting, but I did want to film some of my initial thoughts before diving in. If you're curious why I'm not sketching on camera, I'm just not comfortable with it yet. Typically, I like to just relax on the couch and sketch there, and setting up with the camera, I usually have the camera overhead or off to the side, and it gets in the way of me being able to look directly at the page and see how things are laying out perspective-wise. I don't like to move the sketchbook that much when I'm painting because I don't want to make anyone dizzy who's watching the video. I don't know, maybe that's not a thing, but it's just, I'm not ready to sketch on camera just yet, maybe at some point. In the meantime, I took a break. I went and started watching Hannibal for the first time, so I got really distracted, but finally sketched something. So yeah, I did try to keep the angle of the face pretty close. I made some little adjustments. I did raise the jawline just a bit, but I still tried to keep a long face. I imagine the chin would end about here. I kept the thinner nose, but I don't draw noses quite as thin as I used to, so I filled it out just a little bit. I did end up keeping the big ears. The more I thought about it, the more I felt that fit if we're going with kind of a fox theme. I mean, the hair color kind of matches too. I might actually make that a tad more orange just to keep the theme alive. Otherwise, I did change the angle of the hand. I felt that in this one, the original, the hand's just kind of floating out in front of the face because it doesn't match the direction the face is going. So I wanted to curve the hand along the same direction just to kind of make it look more like he might be wiping his bloody nose or something. As for the torso, I still haven't decided if he's going to be in some sort of outfit or he's just shirtless. It wouldn't be weird for a dude in a fight to not wear a shirt. I don't know. I'll decide later. But yeah, he does have a body now. After 2 years, he's finally obtained a body. I also brought the arm down more just because it made sense with the pose. I tried to make the face just a bit more expressive because, I don't know, I like the original, and that's why I'm redoing this one, but I thought he could look a little bit more defiant. I think that's kind of what I was going for in the original. I wanted someone who had been beaten down and yet still stood up with defiance because that's how I needed to feel at that time. More on that later, probably. So yeah, that's what I'm going to start with, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera now, think about it a bit more, maybe sit on it for the night, and then start again tomorrow. This is totally just an excuse to watch more Hannibal. I'm like 7 years behind the curve there, so talk to you more later. Bye. Okay, so I am back for the voiceover, and I guess I should start by pointing out that it's been about 3 weeks since I filmed the first part of the voiceover. Essentially all that means is it feels like it's been a really long time, and I don't completely remember what I spoke about already. I do know that I mentioned I was watching Hannibal, which I should go ahead and point out that I maybe watched like 2 more episodes and kind of stopped, so I can't speak on that show very much. I was very excited for all of 5 minutes there. Otherwise, I think I teased that I was really stressed when I did the original. So I guess I should speak to what was going on when I did the original painting. Essentially, how do I put this? I was in a weird position at work. We had a senior manager who I'll just refer to as the boss man. Who was not the most tolerant, the kindest. I don't have the great things to say about him. And I had someone who was acting as my manager. He wasn't actually a manager, but he was a lead, and he was a good friend and a mentor for me. He was training me in some of the stuff to be a leader. Not that I'm trying to be a leader myself, but I was supporting him in that role when he was out of town. So essentially, my friend was really stressed out and did not enjoy his current work environment, working for the boss man. And he went home one day, or rather, he went to the hospital one day because he was so stressed out. He thought he was having a heart attack. It turned out he wasn't, thank God. But he was really sick from all of the stress at work. And for the immediate future, because I'd been acting as a lead at that time, when he was out of office, I immediately assumed that role again. And it was a bad time for it. It was the end of the year, which just means there's a lot of work to do. I don't want to get into specifics about what I do, but it was a very stressful time to take on that position, especially since that was the area I hadn't been trained in at all. So it was all new, and it was a lot of work and a lot of effort. And the situation surrounding it, with my friend being ill, was really scary. So I was dealing with a somewhat aggressive boss and a sick friend, and I went from just being like an application lead on one project. If this is the first video you're here for, I'm a programmer. I'm sure I've mentioned that before. So I went from that role to suddenly overseeing 12-ish applications, some of them extremely small, but it was still a lot to learn. I didn't know a lot about most of these projects, or their staffing needs, some of the personality conflicts that were going on, and then just basically trying to work towards getting funding for the next year. And it was it was a lot to take on at once. And then once again, I was worried about my friend who decided not to come back. So at this point, this was like the first week of this. Looking back, I'm amazed I was so stressed at that point. I guess a lot of it was just the situation surrounding my lead. But to take on all that work, it got a lot worse. So that's why it's funny to me that I was so stressed now, or rather early December 2018, when things just got worse and worse. I ended up acting in that leadership capacity for 3 months. It was not good. I really don't want to get into it too much, but I did want to address why I had my little stressed, abused character. It was just my way of venting my frustrations for that particular period in time. I think that after that, I probably didn't actually have as much time to draw or paint for a while. I know we must have had the Christmas holiday, but I think I was like in recovery mode during that time. And then, yeah, the next 3 months were just brutal. So anyway, getting back to this painting. Actually, first I should point out that if my voice sounds weird, I'm not sick. I've just been doing a lot of yard work and building a new desk, which I'm standing at. I'm very excited about my new desk, but I've worn myself out, so I'm a little raw right now, and tired and sore, but I feel accomplished, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, so back to this painting. I think I addressed some of the changes I made when I did the original sketch and filmed my initial thoughts on that, so I don't want to dig back into that too much. But yeah, otherwise, I actually already posted this on Instagram the other day, and I had someone tell me that he looked older, and I found that amusing because I see it now. I didn't see it at the time. That wasn't my intention to make the character look older. I think it's just a matter of little things in my style that have changed. Part of it really could just be that I'm getting older, so my characters might just be aging as a consequence. But otherwise, I'm not really sure. I think part of it is I started drawing eyes more at I don't want to say realistic, but because I don't really go for realism, but just a more realistic scale towards the rest of the face. So in the original, the eyes were a little bigger, and that tends to make characters look younger. And then I guess because he has the rest of his form, he looks probably more fit than he would have been if I had drawn the rest of the body back then, just judging by how narrow the face was. But I'm not really sure. So, yeah, not my intention to make him look older. It just happened. Yeah, so this took me about, I want to say 6 hours to do in total. Obviously, I speed up the video a lot because this would be really boring to watch in real time. I don't think my process is particularly interesting, so thank you all for watching. But I just work really slowly and build up layers very slowly, and honestly, I really enjoy doing this one. I had a little trouble getting back to it at the end because I had done so much work before, like Lightbox Expo, which I just attended a bunch of events. I wasn't really involved with Lightbox Expo, but I really did enjoy the different sessions. So that weekend, I think that was the 11th, 12th, and 13th of September. Most of the painting was done before that, and then I just picked it up again this week to finish it up. But the first part of it, I just really enjoyed the process. I took it really slowly and just enjoyed the process of putting paint down on paper and didn't really think about it too much. I was still a little stressed that I might make it worse than the original and be like, oh wow, I've not improved at all, I've gotten worse. But in the end run, I like how this came out. I still think I have a lot of room to grow and there's a lot more I want to do with my art, but for what I was going for, I'm pretty happy. Otherwise, it's really hard for me to put something away and then come back to it. I may have discussed this before because I know that I took a big break on the I guess, three paintings ago, 3 videos ago, when I did Yusuke Kitagawa from Persona 5. I know I took a really big break in that one because I was in the middle of the landscape painting course. Similarly, now I'm in the middle of the gouache painting course, so I find myself having less free time, and I feel guilty if I'm doing watercolor now because I should be practicing gouache more. But yeah, I'm sorry, I have no idea what I was planning to say for this video, and I'm totally just winging it again. So yeah, sorry. But yeah, I did enjoy the process. I got a little bit more stressed towards the end just because I had shelved it for a while, and I really did want to just finish it up and focus more on my gouache class. So there was that little... I probably could have taken more time towards the end and finished this up a little better, but I'm happy where I am. Otherwise, since I mentioned it already, I really am enjoying that gouache painting class. Gouache is a medium that I've been interested in using for quite some time, but it's something I haven't really studied too well, and I'm glad these classes became available. This is the gouache painting class by Justin Donaldson, who also taught the landscape painting class. It's just, I guess I wasn't particularly motivated to study it on my own. I did a few pieces in gouache, but I kept going back to watercolor. It is something I want to get better at. Watercolor was the first type of paint I picked up. For some reason, my brain thought it was the easiest one to learn and the cheapest one to get into. Oils terrified me. I've not used oils, and acrylics dry so quickly that my mind just sees it as the potential for massive amounts of paint waste, which I can't get behind right now. But gouache has that like perfect balance of, it's like watercolor, you could re-wet it, you don't really waste paint, but you still get to play with the opacity of other forms of paint that you don't really get with watercolor. So I'm glad I have this class to motivate me to study it more and try to get better at it, because I have a lot more I want to do with art in general, and I think gouache can help me get there. After doing that Scotland trip and doing that journal with, it wasn't a plein air journal, it was just a travel journal, I see the appeal of having a media where you could layer in a different way than you can with watercolor, because you don't have to plan out everything as far in advance, and you could really, I think, be a little freer with your painting, and I do want to experience that. Wow, I have gotten pretty far off topic. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. This is another thing. I really wanted to get this audio done with so I could get the video out of the way, and I might listen to this and go, yeah, this is terrible and you can't post this. I'm also way too lazy to look up music, so I just allow myself to ramble for however long I have, and I really should build a music library of music I could play in the back of videos. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so I really don't have too much else to say. I'm doing pretty well. I hope you all are too, and I guess I will go ahead and call it here and go find some music to play to finish off this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I really don't have any plans for a next video. I know that I had talked about maybe doing like a flip through for Inktober or past Inktober's. I don't think I'm really going to do that. Everything's so weird with Inktober right now. And I'm not participating this year, primarily because I don't have the time. I know I'm going to miss it, but at the same time, it'll be nice to have an October that I'm not like drowning myself in work. So I'll figure out something to do next. If there's anything you guys want to see, I know I had a request for sketchbook tours. I will do that at some point. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.